The Communist Party Congress ended with President Ji Xinping's elevation to the status of China's founding father, Mao Zedong. Xi Jinping thought is now one of the party's ruling principles. The unanimous vote came at a time when China's economy is seeing robust growth. And with third-quarter GDP in the world's second biggest economy up 6.8%, Xi says his focus is building on that growth to improve the lives of Chinese citizens.
The aspirations of the people to live a better life must always be the focus of our efforts. We must work tirelessly and forge ahead on the journey of realizing the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation.
Key points of Xi's ideology include the importance of research in science and technology to boost development. He plans to build infrastructure links between China and its neighbours, and he's been cracking down on corruption. It's a campaign that's already unseated hundreds of thousands of officials. But on these Beijing streets, the people have mixed views on the effect a stronger Xi will have on their future.
Our country was led by Chairman Mao in the past, and we can see Mao in him. In a way, it really boosts people's morale towards China's development, which I think is very good.
As a local who grew up in a traditional Beijing courtyard, I can tell you that people right now are angry, but are afraid to say anything.
Analysts say the policy shift could result in higher corporate taxes, employee welfare costs, and environment pollution levies.
Environmental protection and economic growth have complemented each other in the past. Quite literally, environmental protection has been enhanced and environmental quality has been improved, while our economic development was not affected.
And while larger corporates are expected to manage these additional costs, smaller businesses are likely to suffer. Adefemi Akinsanya, TRT World.
Now let's get more analysis on China's constitutional reform, and let's go to strategist Andrew Leung, who's joining us from Izmir in Turkey. Great to have you on the show, Andrew.
At the background.
Thank you. Look, the administration of Xi Jinping has been trying to make big changes to the to the economy for some time. Why have they made this constitutional change now? Andrew, can you hear me?
Well, at the moment, China is facing, has been facing an existential threat. Because internally, for example, there are huge problems of corruption, power grabbing, and even attempts to rattle the entire stability of the Communist Party, coming from vested interests, coming people who are corrupt, who are power grabbers. And of course, look at the economy, there is acute inequalities, and the environment is still cause a lot of problems, including social protest. And then externally, the advanced markets are slowing down. And of course, people are more fearful of the rise of China. So there are lots of problems externally. But at the same time, there are tremendous opportunities. As Xi Jinping was saying, the country is entering into a new era. Now, what this new era stands for is that the existing powers, for example, the United States, is withdrawing more inwards, is shirking, is running away from global responsibilities. That opens up a lot of leeway for China to play a more important role. For example, climate change, for example, other regional problems like North Korea.
Okay.
And so, on the one hand, there are tremendous challenges internally. On the other hand, there are tremendous opportunities externally.
Okay.
And that's why China wants to grow the China dream so that China can recover its ancient glory as a great nation.
Okay, Andrew, I want to come back to the issue of the US in a minute, but let's go back to the era of Deng Xiaoping. He, of course, very famously said, let some people get rich first. Xi Jinping says it's time for China to implement socialism with Chinese characteristics. Is Mr. Xi talking about a return to pre-Deng type socialism?
Well, it is very different from the times of Deng Xiaoping when China was relatively poor and when China was transiting from a almost communist state control kind of economy to a more open economy. So Deng Xiaoping wants China to open up to reform. And to let a few people get rich first. Now, this kind of formula no longer works because after so many years of breakneck growth, a lot of the old model of China's economies, depending on more energy input, more labor input, cheap labor, and so on, the profits are disappearing. The profit margin is so thin, so China needs to reform itself, upgrading its economies, upgrading its technologies to create a high value added, more high tech, and because of the
Andrew,
production of a lot of university graduates, engineering graduates, that opens up the huge opportunity. And now with the
Andrew, sorry, we are running out of time. I want to ask you just one very quick question. How is this constitutional change going to affect how it handles the US's attempt to contain China economically?
Well, this, what I said, of course, all these risks and opportunities present a lot of challenges and opportunities for China businesses, for international businesses, as well as for the regime, the Communist Party, which is trying to grow itself as a ruling party, which can deliver the economic goods to justify its legitimacy.
Andrew,
and also,
I'm afraid
because
that we are running out
huge
of
change
time.
in the economy presents a lot of opportunities for innovative companies and businesses.
Andrew Leung, thank you very much indeed.